Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, welcome to today's session. Please, can you see my screen?
Yeah, welcome to this session. Please, can you see my screen? Yeah, welcome to this session.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning once again. We are back to today's session on front end development. So, if you can remember, last week we started looking at some technical side of this front end development, where we were trying to see something on React form. Yes, we are trying to create a React form. So today we shall be continuing. We stopped last. Those online, are you with me? Hello, are you all with me? All right. Okay, great. Okay, great, great. Thank you. So today we'll be looking at React, and then we will say one or two things about React, and then we continue from where we stopped last week. So today's class is purely, or let me say, going to be based on practicals. We are going to be mostly doing the actual technical coding of the back end. We're going to be playing with the codes. Mostly that's today's class. So I hope, uh, like we suggested, almost all of you have VS Code by now. So if you don't have to panic. You can always get it at your own time. Yes. So there's a link I will share with you in this class. So you also need to go and learn more. You can always catch up. Yeah, this class will always be online. So even if you do not follow, maybe later on you can always come back to it. All right, good. So now today mostly we'll be talking about React, like I mentioned. So can you see my screen, please? Is it moving? Okay, okay. So it is. So I've put my screen on slideshow. Is it show? Okay. All right. All right. That's great. Okay. Someone is saying cannot see. The, Okay, I guess. Okay. Let me just proceed with that. Let me just proceed with that this lecture. Okay. So what is React? If you can see my screen, okay, my screen is changing. So what is React? It's a question. So basically, React is a popular open source JavaScript library for building user interfaces. If you remember at the initial session at the initial session for this front end development course, we were all talking about user interfaces, user experience. That was what we covered at the very first phase of this. The screen is not. So let me increase the. Okay, like we were saying that very session, we were all talking about user interfaces and user experiences, right? So good. So React is an open source and a popular JavaScript library for building user interfaces. You see, this particular course, front-end development, like we mentioned earlier, is mainly focused on user interfaces and user experience, right? So this React is primarily for single-page applications. That was what it was initially envisaged for single page application. However, it allows developers to create reusable UI components and manage the dynamic behavior of user interface efficiently. Did you get that? So React, basically, basically React is for user interface. It's for front-end development. When you say you want when anywhere they say, or maybe anywhere you hear it, they say, okay, we want a front-end developer. We want a front-end developer. So it is somebody in React. If you dig deeper, you see that it's like somebody in React is what probably they are looking for somebody in React. So that is just it. So actually, React was also developed by Facebook in 2013, right? You're welcome. Almost welcome. So we've already started the class online. Good morning, Adam. Okay, sorry. So those online, hope you don't mind. We just we just got some of you physically here. Initially the class commenced it online. So we've not really gone far. So like I was saying earlier, so this particular session we'll be talking about we'll mostly focus on front-end development. This course is about front-end development, right? So we are going to work with React. React React is a popular JavaScript library for building user interfaces. That is what React is. So in this particular session, we are going to be mostly working on the tech part. In this, I just have like 3 or 4 slides, and then after that, we are just going to be the technical, yeah, the codes. We're going to play around with that. Yes, we are going to play around with that because last week we started something, but unfortunately the time wasn't really yes. So today we are going to continue from there and then move on. So, like I said earlier, React allows developers to create reusable UI components and manage the dynamic behavior of the of the interface efficiently. So, React was developed by Facebook in 2013, and it has since become one of the most widely used libraries for front-end development. Absolutely. So, React has become one of the most popular actually. It has become one of the most popular because anywhere you talk about front-end development, you just have to talk about React. That is just the fact. Because with React, we have React and then we have React Native. React, you can use it for mobile application as well as web application. As for React Native, we use React Native for mobile application. So why use React? We use React because React has a reusability feature. Components can be reused across different parts of the application, reducing duplication. That is one good thing about React. Another thing is performance. The virtual DOM ensures efficient updates, resulting to better performance of dynamic applications. That is one thing. That is one thing with it. It has some dynamic. Good morning. Good morning. Has some dynamic features. Thirdly, React is flexible. We like using it. Yes. Thirdly, React is flexible. React can be integrated with other libraries or frameworks and used for web and mobile application. Like I mentioned earlier, React, as it is, you can use it for web development, develop your web application, your website with beautiful interfaces, very, very beautiful interfaces. Also, you can also use React, right? Call it React Native, just basically the same library, almost the same library for mobile application. It allows for, and this allows for cross-platform development. You know, if you want to develop a mobile application, Android is a platform on its own, iOS is a platform on its own, right? Yeah. Before, initially, when you want to develop a mobile application, you have to develop for Android first. Then you go back and develop for iOS. And these skills, it's not all developers that have both skills that can do iOS and can do Android for you. So there is so much cost, you know, because you'll have to find an iOS developer and an Android developer. All of them, you have to pay them. There's time, right? There's time because, of course, they will waste so much time. But when technologies like React, like like Xamarin, Flutter came, so it revolutionized mobile development. So it now become you can now use one code base, right, to develop for these two different platforms. So with React, you can do that. You can develop a mobile application with one code base, and it can run on iOS, it can run on Android. Whereas before it wasn't like that. So let's move to the next. So another advantage why we use it, right, because it has a large community and support. Like I said, in almost every 10 developers, in 10 front-end developers or even developers that you can get anywhere, you find out at least six will be React, will know a little bit about React. You find out at least 6 out of every 10 anyway you got at least they know something about React. So when you embark on a project, it's always advisable, there's this feasibility study before you start any software project and all that. So when you embark on a project and then you got hooked or got stuck somewhere and then you couldn't continue because your future or something has just hindered, that's a failed project somehow because you couldn't complete it. But it's advisable, like whenever you want to, you have to look at, it's one of the factors you look at. If I got stuck, where do I go and get support? Because you cannot do it alone. You cannot do it alone. I assure you that. One point at it, one state at a time. Sometimes you must have to go and seek for help. So you can see, like, okay, when you're doing project where okay, at least I know I can go and get support somewhere else. Anywhere around, I can go support. Not like other programming languages that are, when you get stuck, you round Abuja, you will not find a developer that knows something about that, right? So it's usually advanced. And then the search engine optimization friendliness with tools like Next.js React application can be can be server side and rendered for better search engine optimization. So next is, where is React used? See, like I mentioned earlier, you can use React for web application. You want to develop your web application? Is it a portal? Is it student portal, employee management system? you know, anything, any kind of management system you want to develop in your organization, maybe you want to deploy, maybe recruitment, all those kind of things. You want to- So you use React. More onto that, like for dynamic application like Facebook, Instagram, and Netflix. I think yeah, Netflix was developed with React. If you know, if you see how beautiful the interface, right? Yeah. So Netflix was developed with React. And one thing with React is like it has a they have a very beautiful libraries for user interfaces. They have a very modern, beautiful libraries for user interfaces using React. So like I mentioned earlier, you can also use it for mobile application with React Native. Developers can build mobile application using React. So yes, that is it. So that is why we are going to use React. That is why we encourage you to use React. Everything. And it's actually even very easy and simple. Just put a little effort. Understand everything. Okay, please.
This was the difference between web applications and mobile.
Okay. Web applications are applications, right? That you use them on your computer browser. Use them on your computer browser, right? For example, now, for example, now, you want to develop. Okay, for example, now let me give you a very good example. You know, e-commerce system. You know Jumia. You know Jumia, right? You know when you go to your browser, you type jumia.com.ng. You know it opens, right? They repeat. You see like everything in the marketplace, right? Likewise, when you go to your iOS or App Store on your mobile phone and search for Jumia, you'll be able to download an application, right? That application that runs on your browser
It's web.
is web-based. It's on the server. It's on their server somewhere, anywhere they choose to put it, right? It's there. Likewise, the mobile application, if it's a
It's
mobile,
one you
if it's
downloaded
yeah,
from
if it yeah from the App Store. However, you can still access the web application on your phone using your browser, right? So, but when you want to access it outside the browser to be on its own, then
mobile. That's when it's called mobile.
that's when it's called mobile application because you design an application for it. Like Facebook. Facebook, you have it online, you can go facebook.com, Facebook and everything. And you can also download an application, right, on your phone. You know, be it for the Facebook Messenger, right? Or any other thing. So, sorry?
Or light.
Or light. Yes. So that's the difference. They are both online application because of course they communicate with the server, right? So that is it. So it's the difference of the platform. That is the difference of the web application and the mobile application. Yeah. So now we're looking at where React is used. Server-side rendering. Tools like Next.js allow React to be used for server-rendered application, right? And then, which this basically means that for applications like we mentioned, like Facebook, right? Like the e-commerce, they have a server somewhere, right? That information is being displayed to you on your screen, right? They have a server somewhere. So React is used to develop such applications that can get the information or data from the server somewhere else and then render it to you on your screen. However, it can also be used for static site generation. React framework like Next.js and Gatsby enable static website generation. You know what a static website is, right?
One that doesn't require all database.
Yes,
Backends.
back end actually. Just like an informational website, you can decide to say, okay, I want to develop a personal website about myself. Okay, maybe like your CV, something like that, everything about you. You can just decide to hard code everything, right? On the design, on the page and everything. There's no database. But when you want to connect it to a database, something like so, and then Yeah. So the information will be dynamic and all that changing and changing. So that's what we call it dynamic. Then the other one is the static. Those online, are you with me? Are you with us? Okay. So at this juncture, I want us to go see like the actual. Let's play with React. Let's learn the technical side of React. But for more information, whenever it is that you really want to, if you want to know more about React, you want to play around with it and all that, you can go to react.com. You can go to, sorry, react.dev. Sorry, please, those online, can you see my screen? Where can we find the site you are using? Okay, the slides you are using. Okay, okay, okay. Like I will send it to you, please. I'll send it to you shortly. Yes, I'm ready. Sorry, sir. What are the static site generation? Okay, okay. I mentioned like static sites are websites that do not have a back end, right? That do not have a database. So you just design. So what you see is just basically what is being designed at the back end in the file in the source code. The design is purely in the source code, so it does not have any back end. So that is basically the static site, and then the dynamic site is the one that has a back end, which the data is being fetched from. Okay, please those online, can you see my screen, please? Okay, I said yes. All right. So for so you see here it says the library for web and native user interfaces. The React. So it says, sorry, the library for web and native user interfaces. So the native basically means mobile. That's why it's called native, right? It's called native because for every application, like I told you, maybe the major two mobile platforms, the iOS and the Android. Before we say native Android. When we say native Android, it means an application that only runs on Android, that is developed for Android technology. Native iOS, right? So that is where the term native came. So and then now it's being used. So you can develop an application for native Android to run on Android. You can generate an application for native iOS. So that is why it's we are with you. Okay, okay, that's great. We are only seeing the slides. Okay, we are waiting for the site to access. Okay, so I think my screen is not sharing online. So because I'm on the site, but somebody is saying they can't actually see it. So I'm coming. So I'm coming. I'm coming. Let me. Oh, my screen is sharing. Oh wow. Mm. So somebody said. So the screen is sharing. You can't see your screen is not sharing. I don't know why I don't have any issue sharing this. So please, can you see the screen? So you can only see my face. I want you to see my screen, not my face. This thing's not sharing. No, this doesn't need to share. I don't need it. I'm taking this from the network. But I need to continue because I need to see my screen. Please don't line. I'm coming. We are trying to figure out the why it's not sharing the screen when everything seems okay. Okay, I think it's sharing now. I think it's sharing now. Please, can you see my screen now? Okay. So we are back. We are back on the screen. So for those of you online, please, on all of you, please, we are sorry about that. So when you, from my screen, you see we are in React.dev, right? So at the screen, you can see it says React, the library for web and native user interfaces. So everything you need about user interface design as well as user interaction, you can find it here. You can see it here. So you can always play about it. So when you scroll down, let's look at brief before we go into our own technical side to do what you want to do. So you see create user interfaces from components. So like I mentioned earlier, any kind of interface you want to design, as in terms of beauty, in terms of beautify, modernization, because what I said modernization is if you look at the way user interface designed 10 years back, 15 years back, 20 years back, you see, of course, there is so much difference. There's so much difference, as in the way a textbook used to be, the way a button used to be, and all that. So, and all that. So, the background. So, it says React lets you build user interfaces out of individual pieces called components. Create your own React component like thumbnail, like button, and video. Then combine them into an entire screen, pages, and applications. So you see something like this. So for videos, for example, when you are doing something that maybe has a video in your application or something like this, so you see the code to the left of your screen translates to this, translates to this. When we start playing out with the codes, you see how you can edit it, customize it, beautify it to your own taste, to suit your own requirements. So this is about buttons. So whether you work on your own, so if you look at the text here, it says whether you work on your own or with thousands of other developers, using React feel the same. It is designed to let you seamlessly combine components written by independent people, teams, and organizations. So basically, what that means is, React, like I mentioned, it has a whole lot of community of developers. So there are some people that might sit down to design something. Let's say a button, or maybe let's say a template. Let me say template. Some people might choose to design a template on their own. You can have access to it. You can customize it, modify it to suit whatever it is that you really want to do. So yeah, across. Write components with codes and markup. React components are JavaScript features or JavaScript functions. Want to show some component conditionally, use an if statement, displaying a list, try array.map, and all that. So basically, what that means is, looking at the first example, you see it was just only one. It was just only one video, right? So, but now if you have a lot of videos, mind if you have a lot of videos, mind you, this might be coming from this might be coming from the back end. Maybe you were developing an application, right, or a system. So if I say system, I mean like everything that encompasses maybe a web application, right? Call it a system because it has different components. You know what a definition of a system is, right? Something that has different components but put together and working as a single unit and all that. So yes. So maybe probably you might want, for example, let me say like, for example, let's say like something like YouTube, right? Okay, but then you want to have your own maybe videos in this array or inside a mobile application. So you can decide to do that. So you can decide to play around with it. So we are going to explain how this single video turned to like 3 videos. So if you have 17, probably let's say you have 17 in your library, maybe the 17 will show. If you have somebody has 16, the 16 will show. You play around with all that. So the markup syntax is called JSX. It is a JavaScript syntax extension popularized by React. Right? Putting JSX markup close to related rendering logics makes React component easy to create and maintain. So with React also, you can add interactivity wherever you need it. If you remember, when we were talking about front-end development, we are talking about user interface, right? It's basically the design and all that. And then we talked also about user experience, right? Put together, that is, let's say, the summary of front-end development. User experience. How does the system behave to you? How does the system behave to other people? How do people interact with it, right? So like so you can add interactivity. It's not just you just design a beautiful user interfaces and then it's just there, just there like a picture and all that. You can add some interactivity to it. When you hover over a button, when you put your mouse maybe of course or over a button, maybe the color should change, or maybe it should give you a description of what it is, something like that. When you click on it, all those kind of things, those are the interactivity. So with React, you can also do that. So React components receive data and return what appear on the screen. You can pass them new data in response to an interaction. Like when the user types an input, React will then update the screen to match the new data. Something like that. Go to show you that example. So if you look at this, right? Sorry, let me zoom out my browser so that it should be able to accommodate what I want to show you. Okay. So like now, if you look at this beautiful interface, like everything you can do, you see, in your own application that you want to design, want to develop, maybe you got a project you want to work on, you can also do something like this or something better than this. You can also and always do that, something better than this. So you see, this person at this particular stage has added some description, some video, uh, and then had modified the design, added a search button here, a title, and all that. So we can also do all that. You can also do all that in your own system. And this code that is here, everything you see is here. You see, as I'm overing it, it's highlighting. You see, like this search input, everything here translates to everything you see here, right? So what I highlight, what my cursor is highlighting here at this point is just here. It just like the yes. So maybe you can also, let me just give you, maybe this can be an expo or something like that. So when you have a project like this, something like this, you can just get a code. You can lift it, put it in your own application, then modify it. Like something like this, the way you see, okay, you want something, maybe you see, okay, oh, this suits my design exactly. I want it. You can just lift it, put it in your own application, and then do some modifications. Do some modifications in the design. If you are a pure front end developer, then your work is done. But if you are a full stack, which of course maybe, so if I say full stack, I have to also do back end and all that, then you go ahead and do the back end. That one. But as a front end developer, just a front end developer, like I can say maybe your work is done, you design the user interface and all that, and then you get paid your money and then move on. So it's easy, you can do all that. So the video list, see as I highlighted here, so it has highlighted the video list. All these codes here, all this code here translates to this. Everything you see here translate to this. So you don't have to build your web, you don't have to build your whole page in React. Add React to your existing HTML page. I'm sure you know what HTML is. Hypertext markup language, and render interactivity components anywhere on it. So that's another thing. One good thing with React, React is a front end library, right? But you can also use it to do some back end. Yes, that is another thing. You can also use it to do some back end. So that's wow about React. So go full stack with a framework. React is a library. It lets you build components together, but it doesn't prescribe how to do routing and data fetching. To build an entire app with React, we recommend a full stack React framework like Next.js and Ruby. So you see now, at this point, it's beginning to go back, and you see as we are scrolling down, they are improving the interface. They are showing you examples of how to do things and all that. So if you look at this line here, the first line here, it says import db from dot forward slash database dot js. So basically, what it's saying now, you are connecting to your database here. Okay, let's say now you've developed your application to a certain level. Okay, now you want to include the back end, which is the database. Let's say you want to include the back end database. So we React, if you use this line, import DB. DB means database, right? From dash.database.js. In your project three, in your project three, the way you structure your project, you should have a file dot database. Sorry, those are lines. Wow, network disconnected. Okay, so I think we're back online. So I think it's disconnected from here. So yes, I should try after time. So those online are still good. So maybe we can continue since we have computers here. So you can connect it. You can connect to your back end, right? So after connecting to your back end, so you can scroll down here. Okay, no. I want you to be following me so that we'll be on the same page. BTX AG. are still good online. So can we continue since you have a screen to do? Okay. So you see in the design at the first line, you have, like I mentioned earlier, you are importing from the database, right? So and then this, there's a function. No, there's something I really want to show here, but okay, you see like there's a line down here, as async, right? Function talks, right? So if you see const, the next line it says const, right? Talks equals to await.db.talks.find all. So basically, what it's trying to tell you, like all these videos, it's fetching it from the database. From that line, this await.db.talks.find all. Then the next line was const videos.talks, right? Dot map. So this, as you can see here, it's fetching it, from the back end. So you can also, like I said, as an expo, maybe whenever you can also like always something like, it's something I will maybe kind of advise. I don't know whether it's good, depending on your skills and time and all that. Some things you don't really have to write them from scratch. You don't really have to write them from scratch. I'm honestly no. That's the fact. If you know you can just get it and then paste it and then do some sorry, yeah, do some changes. I don't yes. So you don't really have to stress yourself. Spend so much time, trying to, unless if that's what you want. But to save you some time, I will really advise from that. So it says use the best from every platform. Going down, say use the best from every platform. People love web and mobile and native app for different reasons. React lets you build web apps and native app using the same skills. Absolutely. So you don't, one thing with React is the same way, the same exact way you design or you develop you used to develop your web application, web system, you can use that same approach, same pattern, same everything, same source code to develop a mobile application. It doesn't have to be a different approach and all that. I've done it severally, not once, not twice. Right? Like same, you can even use the same code base and all that for web and a mobile application. Yes, you can do stay through on the web, go truly native. So that is it. So use the best from every platform. Yeah, stay true on the web, right? And then go truly native. So that is one good thing about React. So when you know it, you've saved yourself the stress of, because before then, right? We used to learn PHP for our web application. We learned PHP, ASP.NET, and all that, all for the web. Then we come and learn another different technology for mobile. Yeah, we come and learn another different technology for mobile, spend so much time and all that. So, but now when you have this technology that you can use the both, you can use the same technology for both, and you'll be good to go. That is the good part. So at this point, so I want us to go into the actual coding. Let's go to the actual part. Play around with it. So I don't know whether those online can see me, can see my screen. So I'm here in my what is it called? Uh, VS Code. Let me try connecting to this again. Alex. Okay. So I think last week you were working on, I was trying to show you some examples, right? Uh, Sorry, what is the URL? You need to access the site. Okay, the URL is react.dev, react dot dev. It is the React screen we're still seeing. Okay, yes, I'm trying to change it now. No, it's no, I think probably it's from the network. It's so slow to broadcast to render. It's, sorry, please. The screen is taking slow to. It's taking a little bit of time to broadcast the screen. It's online. On the line. Sorry, sorry. ID. Okay, automatic ID. Please. Please, sorry for that technical day. We're having some issues with the network broadcasting, with the broadcasting network. So we don't want to leave those online behind us. It's back on live, right? Okay, so that's great. So please, let's quickly move on to looking at the QR code. Please, I'm aware that most of you using the desktop here, it's Chrome OS. So the Chrome OS, you cannot run VS Code on it. Okay, but there's a web. Okay, you have Chrome, you have VS Code. Okay, please. Okay, before we quickly. Okay, for those of you. Okay, quickly. Do you have Node on your computer? Okay, please quickly go to node.org and download Node package because for React we'll need a Node package. But I think for those of you using this platform online, you don't really need it. Have you ever worked on anything React? So let's quickly have it Node. So it's going to be, sorry, I think nodejs.org. Is those online that have downloaded that have VS Code and do not and have not worked on anything Node. So please, you can go to node.org, nodejs.org, and then download Node.js. So when you download and install this, nothing is showing at my end again. So okay, please, maybe please check your system because I know it's okay. I'm certain it's broadcasting now. Please, okay. Okay. So please, for those of you using, are you downloading it? All right, please. So when you download and install, let me know. I'll be back to show you some examples. So if you look at this file, right, I'll continue explaining this bit by bit, and then we are going to run it on your own system. So for those of you using the online platform, you can also, I don't want you to type because that would take so much time. Maybe how do I share the codes for you? Uh, because typing will take so much time. Hmm. Okay, probably maybe you can paste it in the comment section. Okay, 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 all right. Let me just. Just to make it easier. Maybe later on we can. What's my say? The platform. Just let's give it to everybody so that those that don't have it, so that we be on the same page.
This one.
Yes. Let's give it. No, even for those online, let me just so that they can just use it later on. They can do the proper installation. Oops, we are having trouble connecting to your YouTube account. Oh, okay. Let me just give it to not to paste it. Sorry. Okay, link here. So I want to share. CodeSandbox. Please, for those of you online, please, we are going to share the link. Go to codesandbox.io, please. This has disconnected again. The screen sharing has disconnected. Okay, network. Disconnected from ideas. Share ideas. Please go to codesandbox.io. Let's go to. Sandbox. Okay, we are good now. The network G A 72 A R E T S T T too many failed attempts to connect with him. How many attempts were there? Ideas. Okay, network. Ideas. Okay, let's leave it. So, react. Okay, if you are in codesandbox.io, then click on try for free. Please click on try for free. Sorry. Please let me broadcast. Please let me broadcast. Let me broadcast. Then click on React. Are you here? Are you on this? Like, okay. For those online, CodeSandbox.com templates, please. Templates, please. Then click on React. Are you all with me? Those online, please. Are you all with us? Yes, I can see the screen now. Please, can you try again? Okay. Please, can comment go? All right. Please. Okay, please. The URL will be sent right now. It's Code Sandbox, CodeSandbox codesandbox.io/templates, or maybe you can click on try for free and then click on React. If you are here, then click on open template. Scroll down a bit and then click on open template. So please, are you in this screen? Sorry? Please, is everybody online on this screen? So please, is everyone on this screen with me? Everyone online, please. Yes, we are there. All right. So I'm going to send you another code. I'll broadcast another code so that you copy and then paste them and then we play around with them so that you understand what we are doing properly. Okay, please, what's the problem, Aliu? We are not together, you said. What's the problem? We need to move on. We need to move on. Okay, so is everyone with us? So as we are all here, okay, we are now. All right, that's great. So everyone is. So we are now on the same page with everyone, I guess. So on this page, you see at the extreme At the extreme left of your page, you see up here we have what we call Explorer here, right? Explorer, and then down here you have templates, you have notebooks, and then you have public, you have SRC. So this SRC, this is your project. We call it the project 3. Like these are the files that will make up your project, your system, what you are developing, and everything you'll be doing is inside this. Like whatever it is you'll be doing is will be inside this SRC. We'll be doing inside this SRC. So and then at the middle here, this code here you see. So these are the source code, right? This is where we play it in React. Sorry, in Visual VS Code. Sorry. Sign in what? You can edit the code. When did this change? When did this change? Okay. Okay. So before you can, there's a new update. So before you can edit the code to play with it, let's maybe quickly sign in so that we can do some playing around with the codes. Sign in with GitHub. Okay. Um, those online, please, are you with us? So please, you can click on up there on your screen. You can click on sign in and then quickly sign up. And then after signing up, you will be in this screen, right? So by the extreme left, like I mentioned, you see some SRC. You see here, we have SRC, and then we have, you see, app.js, and then we have index.js, as well as we have styles.css, right? So at the center here, you have your source code. So this is the React code we are going to be playing around with. And at the extreme end here with the white background, that is your preview window. Like everything you do here in your code will reflect here. This is the design. So basically in the design, you see here, it says hello CodeSandbox. Start editing to see some magic happen. So let's start doing some magic. So I want somebody to tell us, like, for example, what do you want us to, maybe what do you see, what do you envisage that you see we design at the moment? Is it maybe a welcome page? Sorry. Okay, just a welcome page and all that. All right, so let's say maybe probably a landing page, right? So let's do that. So if you see here, we have app.js. So basically, in React, we have what we call, like, is it like the landing page? So whenever you run your program, there's a first page that will run from the application, right? So from this page, you navigate to other pages. So and then down here also, we have index.js and we have styles.css. So this styles.css, all your styling, your design, your styling will come here. And then the main structure of the entire page is in this app.js. So that is why here at the line number one, you see import dot forward slash styles dot css. So before you start anything here, it basically means you are importing this file. Everything inside this file, you are importing it to this side. Yes, because your styles, your design will be here. That is, your styling is here, right? And then you are importing it to this file. And then this export default function dot apps means basically like you are within the application, within the system, right? You are broadcasting it to the main page, right? You are broadcasting it to the main page. That is what it basically means. And in the design of React, it is within this return. Return is like just to give results, right? It's just to give results. So and then here, based on like basic HTML structure and standard, everything is divided into div, right? And then you give every div a class, sorry, a class name. So this div has a class name app. So and then we have h1. H1 basically means heading one. We have heading 1 to 6, right? H1, H2, H3, H4. So H1 is like big heading, like super heading, right? Yeah, like the main heading, that's H1. Then we have H2, which is like a subheading, right? And then we have H3, there another like a little subheading, right? So as the number goes up, the size of the heading, goes down. So basically here it says hello CodeSandbox, right? So when we edit this to, maybe probably somebody should maybe give me an example. Okay, somebody in the background say let's add photo. And from online, somebody says let's add photo. Okay, we are going to add a photo. So to add a photo, okay, what should be the, okay, well, running the landing page. Okay, first thing we do maybe to add a photo is we will now, inside this div, right, we are going to create a tag, img, right? Img, which stands for image. Then we give it a source, src. So for now, we do not have a source. What we will do right now is to import, first of all, what we will do is to import the image. So let's get another image to use for that, and then put it inside. We look for a place. Okay, let's say create. Okay. Let me get a picture to use online. Uh, Picture of what, please? Any idea? A cat, a car. Okay, let's look for a picture of a car. So let's look for a picture of a car. Okay. So what car do we use? Okay. Let's use this. Let's use this. Save images. All right. Let me say red car. Start downloads. Okay. Red car. Red car. Right. Okay. A lot of people online said car. So from this, let's import. Let's add it. Okay, I know. Let's add it inside this src. Let me see if I can just dragging it will be easy. So you see, when you are dealing with images, all that, it is advisable when you're working on a project, like you structure it very well. You structure it very well. So now that we are supposed to add a car to the project, right? So your source code is inside what is it called? This src, right? These are where your source code is. So it's professional, like a professional convention. Like whenever you want to do something with project like this, you create another folder, right, to put your images inside. Yes, so that you just be calling the reference to that, right? So you just be. So now let's create another folder. Come here, you see new folder, right? If you click new folder, then we can call it maybe assets. You can call it assets. Unable to resolve existing. Let me try. No, it's refusing to create. Uh, okay, it's giving some error. So it's about authorization. So let's do it like this. Download. Let me just add it. Unable to write. We are not authorized. The platform is saying you are not authorized. Sorry? Okay. Okay. I guess because we are using the free version. We are using the free version of it, so that's why it's not allowing us to import images. However, please, at the end of this class, before I leave, at the end of this class, before I leave this particular point, I'll send you all the instructions on how to set up your Visual Studio Code to run React, because it's an installation process that actually takes a little bit of time. So I'll send you all the detailed instruction. I'll send you all the details. So by then you can always do that. And I'll show you an example here. Let me show you some example here on my screen. For example, please, those online, can you see my screen? Those online, please, can you see my screen? Okay. So let's continue. I'll come back to show you how we can. So some online people are advising that we do something. We edit this and then add some. We should say welcome to Ideas University photo collage. Okay. I think we should just try and add a background color. So okay, we'll do all that. We will do all that. So we are back to here. So let's change here. You can say, what did you say? Say ID. Okay. Says welcome to Ideas program, right? So basically, like, this is our main header. As you can see here, it says, well, welcome to Ideas program. So in CSS, so now if you want to style it, there are several options to do the styling in CSS. You can do what we call the inline styling, right? And then we can do another styling, like an external styling, using this file here as it is. So let's open this CSS file. So this is how it looks like. So saying app.app, like, which means it's referencing to this entire class name, this app. This is what it is referencing, this class name of this div. So what it's saying is the font family, every font, it's saying every font in this div that is here. Remember, we imported at the beginning here, up here, we imported everything inside this, right? So, and now it's saying inside this div, this from this like this, inside this div like this, right? It's saying font family, let everything in the font family be sans serif, and let the text align be center, right? So this is how it goes. So we can decide to change. We can decide to change it. Okay, we can decide to say let it be Arial. We can decide to say let it be Arial. So everything here inside this div is going to be Arial, right? So, and then what if we don't want everything? What if we don't want everything here to be Arial, right? Okay, we the div name dot h1, like, we cannot decide to say, okay, we are taking this entire element, the element of h1, right? The first header. Let's make it separate from this in terms of font. Let's give it a separate design, right? So to give it a separate design, we can decide to say, okay, We can decide to say now is, let's say, dot app, right? h1 dot app, then space, then h1, right? And then we now, with the curly bracket, okay, we can now decide to say, okay, let the font family be something different. Right? So now decide to say font family Calibri. Okay, do we have Calibri here? I think it's like this, right? Calibri. Is it I? Calibri like this? Okay, it's Calibri like this, right? Okay, so we can now decide to say color. You can now decide to say color. You can choose anything. Okay, let's make it like this. Is this color okay? Can now decide to say brown. Okay, we can now also increase the size. That we can say font size. This is the CSS. This is CSS. This is how you basically design. When you put the structure in that side, and then you design it using the CSS. So we can now design it. We can now decide to say what font size do we have? Do we want? Do we want to increase the size? We can decide to use percentage. We can decide to use pixel, and we can decide to use SP. There's a, measurement units the CSS use as SP. So we can decide to say what size do we make it? Okay, see the large is not too large. Okay, larger too is not. Oh my god, this is okay. Okay, but let's look at 200 pixel. Oh, 200 pixel is very massive. Okay, 20 pixel. Okay, let's say 80 pixel. No, 80 pixels. Okay, let's say 40 pixel. Okay, this is 40 pixel. And you can decide to do it in percentage, how you want it, the percentage of the screen. So it will always reflect with the percentage of your screen if it's the size of your screen. So that is it. Another property is you can decide to say font style. Font font style. Okay. Font style. So the font style can be italics, can be normal, it can be oblique. So, but I think for the header, we should leave it as normal, right? So the normal is if you put normal or you leave it without the property normal, it's always on normal. So, but when you put it on italics, it will change it. It will change it to italics. So I'm always having issues with changing font in CSS. How can that be done? Okay, okay. Creative TV. Uh, I think we should just try and add a background color. Okay, creative TV. Okay, so changing fonts in CSS, basically you use font family. That is the property you use. Font family. And however, aside this, maybe probably you were experiencing some issues whereby you generalized the div. So when you generalize the div, at some point it will give you, you'll be having some challenges changing a particular font in CSS. So I will show you another example. Maybe with that you can use inline. You can use the inline CSS approach. So can we go on? So like I mentioned, to change fonts, you use font family. Sorry, the one is not changing. Sorry, I'm coming. Okay. There's a there's on. Yes. Okay. Yeah. You can tell. Yes. If that is referencing that. Yes. So it's referencing that particular div. However, let me show you another thing. If you find this a little bit challenging, there's another option. Let me just uh, let me just erase this, leave it blank. Then we can also style this same. We can also style this same header another approach using the CSS. This is we call inline. So when you write the structure, maybe the attribute like H1, you want to do on H1, you can type space then style. You can type style. Oops, sorry, this is an error. STYLE. You can type style. After typing style, right? Then you use equals to. Then you use curly braces, two curly braces. You are with me, right? Those online, are you with us? Those online, are you with us? I'm having problems creating an account on you. Okay, please use Google. Just use create with Google, and then it will, yeah. If you've been left far back, probably maybe you might have to watch the video over again at time. So you see, right? We are going to. So if you want to style maybe this component individually as it is now, right? So you can decide to do it like this. Then we can now decide to say the color, right? And then we can decide to say blue. Okay, I think it should be inside quotes. Is it single quote or double quote? Okay, so this is, yeah. So the approach to styling is two. You can decide to make the entire styling of your page in separate file. You just be calling the references. You just be calling them references, right? And you can decide to incorporate it inside the design. This is it. Then you put comma. Then another styling property. Maybe you can decide to say font weight. Font weight. Okay, let's go with the font family before font weight. Font family, right? Font family, we can say Korea, Rier, right? Is Korea nice? Okay, let's use Vadana, Verdana. No, Vadana, okay. This right? Then font size. can decide to say font size. Font size should be, let's say, 15 pixel. Oh, that's too small. Let's make it 25. Oh, no. I mean 25, not 35. Okay, 25 pixels. So you can decide to do this design. And all this, as you can see, at the end of the day, you can build it into a mobile application, right? You can build it into a web application. That is the beautiful thing about React. You can build it. So likewise, maybe probably this one too, you want to style it separately, right? This H2, you can include the styling like this, and you can also include the styling. If you remember this div class, like I mentioned, this div class, everything inside of it, like it's categorized as a single unit. Then there are individual elements. They are categorized not as a single unit, as a group. They are categorized as a group, and then every element inside is an individual element. For example, you see this H2, right? Is a header 2. Then we can decide from this design another option. You can decide to say this H2, right? You can decide to say this H2, and then we give it the styling that we want. We give it the styling that you want. Okay, there are properties. Let me use your own properties. If this, yes, use your own properties. For the properties, if you want, we have font size, we have font family. Font family is the type of family, like the type of font. There is font size, there is color. We have letter spacing also. There's letter spacing. So you can, for example, let's look at the letter spacing. So the letter spacing basically like how do you want the spaces between each letter to be. So for example, this same header, okay, let's add letter spacing. Letter spacing. I like working with pixels in my this thing. So let's say make it 5 pixels. So this is how the spacing of five pixels between each letter is. Okay, let's make it 3 pixels. The spaces between each letter is 3 pixels there. Okay, let's make it 2 pixels. Make it 2 pixels. Hold on. Yes. Okay. So aside this, we can decide to add other properties like other. Okay, let's change this. Let's change this header to something. Uh, okay, so what do you? Welcome to ideas program. Let's start editing to see some magic happens. So give me a suggestion. Hmm? Hmm? Oh, absolutely. Sorry? Okay, registration is open for new cohort. Okay, let's. Okay, coming. Yeah, let's add it. You said a gateway to software what? Yeah? Software programming, right? Then we can create another, let's call this one, okay, we can use paragraph P, right? Another element. So P basically means paragraph. So this paragraph, like you put text inside it, like a whole, maybe a lot of sentence, a lot of things. So we can decide to say maybe uh, registration is open, right? Registration is open for new cohort. Registration is open for new cohort. So I think for this one, let's downsize the. We want to make a beautiful design, so let's downsize the. What do you think? The font weight. So font weight basically means in the CSS properties, it means how thick, like bold on bold, how thick the font is. So that is basically what the font weight in CSS basically. And so we can decide to say, should we say 10 pixels? 10 pixels is good. Okay, 7. Oh no, sorry, font weight is bold, lighter. Let's see, let's see, let's see lighter. Okay, sorry. Okay, and then maybe we can increase margin. So we have margin, margin top, margin bottom, margin left, right? All in CSS. So basically, if you put the margin, it affects the entire site, the entire size of the text. So or whatever the property is that is margin. So when you put margin top, right? So it's the margin on top, yeah, on top of the element. That is the margin. Likewise, the margin bottom, the margin, it affects the margin at the bottom, margin left, margin right, and all that. So that is basically the concept. Because some of you, I'm sure, you wondered, okay, we have margin, margin top, margin right, margin left. Yes. So let's say, so for margin bottom, for this H2, let's margin bottom, let's use let's say 15 15 pixels is small. Let's say 25 35 pixels. So I think let's reduce the margin bottom for this. Okay, but for proper, if you decide to do your CSS styling inside your main file, rather than putting it aside, so it would be advisable to do it in this format. You see, as I was doing it earlier, it was going this way, this way, this way, and right. As I was doing it earlier, it was going, everything was going horizontal, right? So it will be a very long. So however, I can just put all the properties, everything in a separate line. For example, like now this styling, this H1, this is the styling for the H1 as it is, right? So this is the styling for the H1 as it is. That is this welcome to ideas program. So okay, let's say now I want to do another something. Then let's say margin. I want to eliminate the margin bottom. Margin bottom, I can maybe use 2 pixels. We can use 2 pixels for margin bottom. Yeah, 2 pixels. Okay. So right now, just to populate the registration form for the new cohort. So let me just do this the right thing. Just small right. Okay, we're here. Property, right? So we call it paper. Hmm, sorry about that. So, so let's create a form. So I wanted to copy some existing code I wrote so that I can show you a display a sample for you to see exactly like a proper form. Unfortunately, the light is gone. So for those of us that are online, for those of us that are online, you see, I've run I've run the code. That is this particular code. So and is so under the SRC, which extension did you click that shows the interface with the source code? Okay, and I have a question here online. So from this, let me go back to it. You mean from this page, right? So under SRC, you now click on app.js. So this app.js will open this source file for you. Source file for you, right? And then you you click here. Can you see this toggle dev tools? Toggle dev tools will open. Okay, here. See it here. Toggle dev tools will open this preview for you. Okay. I'm aware it has been called to my attention that it is already 11 a.m. It is time for the second session. But unfortunately, here we have a light glitch. Okay. For those of us online, it's actually time for the second session. And here we are let me not say darkness. We're out of light, but we're out of power. So I guess probably call this session, let's put this session to a hold and then commence another session from the beginning. Thank you. So the second session is starting right now by 11. So thank you. Somebody said, so please, using this sandbox or whatever it's called isn't the proper way. We will be glad if you can use an IDE to do it instead of those that doesn't have the IDE should try and get one. Okay, okay, Kafan Digitals. Okay, noted, noted. We'll see and try to get the IDE across. Okay, so please, we'll be starting the next session right now. Okay, thank you. Thank you all.